الصور أحب الوفي الأمين الأغر.
Join me, Faizal MJ Suleman, this and every Saturday on Rise and Shine. Looking forward to gracing the airwaves of Radio Al Ansar from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Rise and Shine.
الوفاء بشتى الصور أحب الوفاء بشتى الصور أحب الوفي الأمين الأغر. فأهل الوفاء كلون السحاب وحسن الربيع وماء المطر. أحب الوفاء بشتى الصور أحب الوفي الأمين الأغر. فأهل الوفاء كلون السحاب وحسن الربيع وماء المطر. مقامهم فوق رأس الجبال وفوق الروابي وعند القمر. ويا من تحب غياب الوفاء رأيتك تهوى غياب البصر.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord, cherisher, nourisher, sustainer, and master of the universe, the most gracious, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Ya Allah, it is only you that we worship and it is your guidance that we seek. Ya Allah, keep us on the straight path. Ya Allah, show us your choice of blessings. Ya Allah, show us your mercy. Ya Allah, show us your blessings. Ya Allah, show us your mercy. Ya Allah, guide us. Greetings, salam, salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's 8 minutes past 8 Central African time. On this Saturday morning, the 8th of February 2025, the 9th of Shaban 1446. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar and CII Radio. Yes, it is an absolutely beautiful morning here in Durban, South Africa, and of course, it's after at least 36 hours of continuous rainfall. Alhamdulillah, everything smells good, everything feels good, everything feels fresh, and it is that lovely morning when driving to the studio, you are really invigorated and you are now ready to roll. Yes, we are ready to roll, and we'll start off this beautiful morning with some nasheed from Nasiha from Sister Yasmin Mujahid, trusting Allah when life is hard.
We are not alone, and Allah reminds us, Ala inna nasrullahi qareeb. Indeed, the help of Allah is near. The fact that the Prophet ﷺ said that no pain or hurt or anxiety or worry or depression or sadness inflicts a believer, even the prick of a thorn, except that it's removing sins from them like leaves falling from a tree. And allow me to remind you of this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, just to put things into context, أم حسبتم أن تدخلوا الجنة ولما يأتكم مثل الذين خلوا من قبلكم. Do you think that you'll enter paradise without going through that which those who came before you went through? مستهم البأساء والضراء وزلزلوا حتى يقول الرسول والذين آمنوا معه متى نصر الله. They went through hardship, adversity. They were so shaken until even the messengers and those with the messengers called out asking, when will the help of Allah come? Mata Nasrullah. A lot of us, we've reached points in our lives where we felt this. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is reminding us that we are on the same path as those who came before us. And they went through things so difficult that even the messengers and the people with the messengers asked, Mata Nasrullah. We are not alone. And Allah reminds us, Ala inna Nasrullahi qareeb. Indeed, the help of Allah is near. If nothing else, it becomes the reason that you enter Jannah. Then did that person hurt you? Or should you be sending them thank you cards? Did that person really hurt you? Yes, they hurt you. But see, there's external hurt and there's real internal, the real kind of harm. And the truth is, no one can actually harm you. That it's all dependent on your response. And if you respond in the right way, then the words of the Prophet ﷺ apply to you, that everything is good for you. That his matters are all good. It is in our hands. It's not in the hands of the people. It's in our hands because we choose how we respond. We choose how we respond. And if a person responds in the way the Prophet ﷺ tells us, either patience or gratitude, then no matter what people do to you, they can't actually hurt you. No matter what people do to you, no matter what comes your way, nothing can actually harm you. Even if externally it looks like it was harm. Do you guys understand? Externally, the shot, it hurts. But the reality is that it was actually good for you. And this becomes our choice. We have to take back that power. We can't let other people have that power over us. We have to take back that power in how we respond. And we don't allow others to break us. The way in which you do not allow others to break you is by your ability to respond in the way that grows you rather than breaks you. And by forgiving, you're taking back that power. Because you're saying, you can't control me. You can't break me. I am going to take whatever has happened in my life and I'm going to use it to become stronger. And I'm going to let it go. And I'm going to forgive, not for you, but actually for me. I'm going to forgive because number one, that frees me. And most importantly, it allows me to get the forgiveness of Allah. So it's a win-win. But you have to change the way you see it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you an opportunity to gain the forgiveness of Allah by forgiving those who have hurt you. Now, how is it? How is it that we can get to a point where we can change the way we view our history, our past? See, if you change the way you see what that person or that situation did to you, it becomes a lot easier to forgive. Because no longer did they destroy you. No longer did they ruin your life, because you realize that in fact it was actually good for you. Realize that this life was never designed to be perfect. One of the problems that we fall into is when we expect perfection. And if we expect perfection, when it is not perfect, we become extremely, deeply devastated. And the level of our devastation is in proportion to the level of our expectation. So we expect perfection from people. We expect perfection from life. And life isn't perfect and people aren't perfect. And so it becomes a lot easier to forgive when you have the proper expectations. But this is about expectations, right? And so if we have an expectation of perfection from people, we're going to be a lot less likely to let things go. We're going to be a lot more angry. But if we realize that people are imperfect, if we realize that life is imperfect, then we are a lot more tolerant, more able to forgive, right? Again, let me reiterate, assuming that it is not abuse, it is not injustice in that sense or mistreatment that you continue to allow to happen. But we forgive the past. And we forgive because we are desperately in need of the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Well, that was some nasiha from Sister Yasmin Mujahid. Yes, my team this morning, Asif Piri is technician in the Durban studio for Radio Al Ansar. Lucky technician for CI Radio in Johannesburg. Wasima Bucks attending to logistics, and this program is produced by Hajra Kota. 0609041056. Yes, those WhatsApp messages can start rolling. And our first message comes from Sister Leila Meta. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to the blessed ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Peace, blessings and salutations be upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. As another blessed day humbles from sujood, say Alhamdulillah, our life depends on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you and your family blessings, ease and protection. Ameen. Have a blessed and safe weekend. Salams and dua, Sister Leila Meta and family. And her inspiring reflections this morning is, when you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. Remember, adopt that attitude of gratitude. Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. It was narrated from Suleman bin Amir that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, giving charity to a poor person is charity, and giving to a relative is two things. It's charity and upholding the ties of kinship. Alhamdulillah, that was an absolutely beautiful message. Message from our brother Yusuf Patel. I will never get tired of saying Alhamdulillah, because Allah never gets tired of blessing me. It's not important in the life that who is ahead or behind us. What truly matters, who is with us in life. Don't just count your blessings. Cherish, love and live them. Beware. Fortunately or unfortunately, neither death nor ill health leave a calling card. They just come uninvited. Salams and duas, Yusuf Patel. Thank you, my beautiful world, with your duas. I'm back home from hospital. Alhamdulillah, brother Yusuf Patel. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant you complete shifa and make it easy for you, inshallah ta'ala. Brother Yusuf Patel, you are the heart of our programs on Radio Al Ansar and on SAI Radio as well. And of course, we cherish your messages always with very, very, very deep meaning, and we look forward to your messages. We make dua and ask all our listeners to make dua for your complete shifa and your recovery, inshallah ta'ala. Ya Nabi, Ya Nabi, Ya Nabi, Ya हम अपने घरों में दुरूदों की शम्मे जलाते रहेंगे, जलाते रहेंगे। हम अपने घरों में दुरूदों की शम्मे जलाते रहेंगे, जलाते रहेंगे। मोहम्मद के नौकर, मोहम्मद की महफिल सजाते रहेंगे, सजाते रहेंगे इंशाअल्लाह। सिया उनकी हुब का कभी ना बुझेगा, ज़माने के आगे ये सर ना झुकेगा। करे पंजतन पे ये सर हम हमेशा झुकाते रहेंगे, झुकाते रहेंगे। मुस्तफा की शान जलाते रहेंगे, जलाते रहेंगे। मोहम्मद के नौकर, मोहम्मद की महफिल सजाते रहेंगे, सजाते रहेंगे इंशाअल्लाह। हमारा सहारा मोहम्मद का दर है, हमें खौफ है ना, हमें कोई डर है। गमों से हमें तो सदा कमली वाले बचाते रहे हैं,
बचाते रहेंगे या नबी 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 मोहम्मद की महफिल सजाते रहेंगे इंशाअल्लाह जो माँ को जो चाहो वो करते अता है वो हाजत रवा है वो मुश्किल
through your day. Radio Al Ansar.
This summer, dine big to win big at Chippewa Spur. Spend 350 Rand or more in store and stand a chance to win prizes worth 12,000 Rand from Hershey Springfield. Prizes include a Rest Assured bed, a DeLonghi coffee machine, and a Kenwood food processor. Enjoy legendary tastes and great wins. Entries close January 13, 2025. Exclusive to Chippewa Spur. T's and C's to apply. Spur. A taste for life.
Korea's Business Institute is open for 2025 registrations. Study information technology, human resources, management, administration, accounting, and much more. Get your free laptop or tablet. T's and C's apply. Visit Korea's Business Institute at Chatsworth Center, Adamshnanga Ridge, or WhatsApp 074 852 7697. Korea's Business Institute, changing lives since 1991.
You've spent all that time, effort, and energy putting together an incredible business. Now, you need to tell people about your business. Advertising and marketing, it's what we do. Listen to this.
I'd like to say thank you to Al Ansar because after we aired last week, massive feedback, massive interest, which has been great. We've got so many potential clients in all the different areas from Pietermaritzburg to Durban North to Virginia.
Speak directly to your target audience. Get in touch with our sales department on 031 208 1601.
Radio Al Ansar.
Rise and shine on Radio Al Ansar. Have you ever wondered why you keep feeling let down by people, by life, by situations that just don't go the way you hoped? You set expectations, you believe things will turn out a certain way, and then disappointment hits again and again. But why does this keep happening? Are our expectations too high, or are we placing them on the wrong things? And most importantly, how do we break free from the cycle? We have on mind with our sister Nazia Seri, a transformational and mindset coach. And of course, she's going to be discussing with us, ever wondered why you keep getting disappointed? Sister Nazia Seri, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Jazakallah khair for joining me in the program this morning.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and Jazakallah for having me.
An absolute pleasure. Now, Nazia, many people struggle with disappointment, especially when expectations aren't met. Why do we tend to set such high expectations for people and life in general?
You know, when I think when it comes to expectations, they are often shaped by our experiences, our beliefs, and even like our wounds, traumas and wounds. So we set high expectations because deep down we long for certainty or for reassurance that things will go the way we hope. And sometimes we place expectations on others because we need to fill an emotional gap within ourselves. So we just assume people will understand us, or they'll meet our needs, or they'll act in the way that makes us feel safe. And when they don't, then the disappointment feels personal. It's like a rejection or betrayal when our expectations are not met. Now, for many, expectations actually come from a place of longing. You long to be seen, or you long to be loved or valued. And when those expectations aren't met by people, it forces us to confront a deeper question. So what are you actually truly seeking? And isn't it something that maybe you need to find within yourself rather than from the outside world?
And what's the difference between healthy expectations and unrealistic ones?
Okay, so yes, healthy expectations, they are based on reality, right? On a mutual understanding and personal responsibility. So when we have healthy expectations, we realize that human beings, we have limitations, and you allow room for grace. So say, for example, like if you're expecting kindness and respect in a relationship, that is healthy because it aligns with your values, and it's how we should actually be treating one another. But now, if you're expecting someone to always understand you or to get you without communicating, or they must never make any mistakes, now that is unrealistic. Now, where unrealistic expectations often come from, it's from our unresolved wounds and like needs that we have, but we don't speak it out, or the belief that actually other people are responsible for our happiness. So we place those expectations on them, those unrealistic expectations on them. And because of that, you leave no space for, any human error or growth. And when we hold on to them, we are actually setting ourselves up in a cycle of disappointment and resentment. So a good way to check if you actually have, if your expectation is healthy, is to ask, is the expectation that you're placing on this person, is it fair? Also importantly, have you communicated it clearly? Because you can't expect something if you haven't communicated. And also, are you meeting this expectation for yourself? So those are the questions you need to ask and to see whether you're having a healthy expectation or it's unrealistic for that person.
And Natasha, how do childhood experiences or past relationships influence the way we set expectations?
In childhood, I think that's where we first learn what to expect from people.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the times, if you grew up in a home that was loving and there was consistency, I think also in that way you do naturally expect that from others. But the main thing is that if we experience neglect or broken promises or emotional unavailability, then we develop expectations, like unrealistic expectations, because we want other people to compensate for what we lacked. So if you give an example, if a child had to earn love through achievement or obedience,
Mm-hmm.
so they'll grow up expecting constant recognition from others for them to feel worthy. And if the child was let down or abandoned, then they might expect like this deep loyalty and this support from people, and they believe that love should make up for past disappointments. So it's not that these expectations are random. It's shaped for what we longed for, but we didn't receive. And now the issue is that, and the problem and challenge is that no human can fully meet the expectations shaped by our wounds, because ultimately the reality is that when we have expectations, and especially high expectations, you are going to be disappointed. People will disappoint you because we are human. The only Allah is the one where he's not going to, when you expect from him, he's not going to disappoint. So when people inevitably fall short, the disappointment feels much bigger than the situation itself. And it's like a confirmation that of everything that has ever happened to you, every past hurt. And that is why actually healing is so important. So we have to address the root of our expectations. And the less we rely on others to fill spaces, then we know, if we do that, then we actually going to not have people to fill those spaces. We'll need that less and only realize that the expectation is only for Allah to truly hold.
And of course, I'm sure you must be, you must get asked this question all the time.
Yes.
But does social media and modern society contribute to unrealistic expectations in relationships, careers, and even personal growth?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Social media, now we know social media, it often presents a highlight reel. It's only the best moments of people's lives.
Yes.
So what we're seeing there, we're seeing the perfect relationships, we're seeing the overnight success stories, and people, they all seem to have it all together, but we don't see what is in the background. And definitely that when we see that, we assume that that's the standard we should be reaching for, but we know the reality is so much more complex.
Mm-hmm.
And when we compare our everyday struggles to someone else's curated version of life, it's easy to feel like you're falling behind or missing out, and that's where you're going to feel the disappointment. So that expectations are not only unrealistic, but it's also so unkind to ourselves. You become so hard on yourself. And and we don't realize that the real relationships, if you want that perfect relationship, which it requires effort, it's understanding, it's patience, there's so much that goes into it. So I think the important thing is that to remind ourselves that social media is just a snapshot and it's not the full story, so that we don't have those expectations or of people to give us that highlight reel that we're looking for, because you're never ever going to get that.
Our guest this morning, Sister Nazia Saidi, a transformation and mindset coach. And our topic for discussion this morning is, have you ever wondered why you keep getting disappointed? Now, how do we cultivate resilience and emotional intelligence to handle setbacks in a healthy way?
Okay. So I think the most important thing is that we have to realize resilience starts with self-awareness. We have to start becoming aware of ourselves. We have to, so the ability to sit with our emotions rather than react impulsively to them. So when we experience setbacks, you know what's the first thing we do? We firstly want to resist what's happening. We blame, or sometimes we even go into a spiral of self-doubt. So resilience is built when we pause and ask firstly. So you basically what you're going to do, you need to do, instead of reacting, you need to respond. You take a step back and you say, what is this moment teaching me and how can I grow from this? Now, emotional intelligence comes from learning to name and process our emotions instead of suppressing them. Because I think we grew up in a culture of, not of everything, be shoved under the carpet, and you'd be not really shown how to deal with emotions. We've learned to suppress them. So we have to learn to understand that all emotions is just emotions. There are no bad emotions, right? Disappointment and frustration is also valid, but it's not who we are. They don't define us. So the more you become aware of this, the more you practice sitting with discomfort, you're understanding your triggers, and you're choosing your responses with intention, then that's how resilient you're going to become, how much more stronger you're going to become. But also, most importantly, self-compassion is key, because it's not about perfection. It's about learning even to show up. Resilience comes from learning to show up for yourselves, even in the messiest moments.
And finally, if someone constantly feels let down by people or life, what is the first step they should take to break this pattern?
Okay. But the first step is always to shine the torch on yourself, to look inward, because disappointment can actually be a powerful mirror. It shows us where you're putting your sense of security, where you're putting your love, where you're putting your worth. So if you are constantly feeling let down, then you need to ask the question, am I expecting others to meet needs that I haven't learned to meet within myself? So it doesn't mean that you don't deserve love or support or kindness from others, but it's just that when we rely on external validation for our sense of peace, we're actually giving away our power. So breaking the pattern starts with self-reflection and healing. It means now you've got to set boundaries with others and yourself. It also means you need to learn to communicate your needs clearly, and you need to learn to give yourselves the love and reassurance we seek from others. And the more you're going to nurture that internal foundation, the less you're going to feel at mercy for external circumstances. And that's how we, inshallah, are going to break the pattern, of being disappointed and feeling let down by people.
Nazia, I want to thank you for joining me on the program this morning, and it's been highly inspirational and also very informative. I'm sure you have a message for our listeners.
Yes. So, the most important thing, because we are speaking about expectations, I think the main thing is always to just remember that we know that no expectations means no disappointment. So what does it mean? It means that we should actually, live life in such a way that to work on ourselves, to heal on ourselves, so we don't have that expectations from others, and we put our faith and our trust in Allah, because ultimately He's the only one that's actually going to never let you down. People will always let you down. It doesn't matter who they are, whether it's your children, your parents, whoever, because they are human. They're human. So placing your full expectations on them, you are going to be disappointed. So always remember to come back and remember that the only one that's never going to disappoint you is Allah. And once we do that, then you're going to see that actually the disappointment that you're feeling, it's not because of people, but it's that expectation from people. So we must always just remember that and come back to that. And just by keeping it that way and keeping it simple, you'll see what a great shift it can make in your life.
Sister Nazia Sidi, Jazakallah khair for joining me, pro. Have yourself a wonderful weekend, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair.
We spoke to Nazia Sidi, a transformational and mindset coach, and a topic for discussion was, ever wondered why you keep getting disappointed? 060-904-1056. Message comes from Sister Farah from Johannesburg. She says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. For the profound nasiha. Through experience, I learned that you're getting closer and grow spiritually when we are put through trials and tests. Farah Johannesburg, she says, I love your program. Jazakallah khair for those kind words, Sister Farah. Okay, Nazima Umar says, Salams, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family, and duas to Alia Inayat. May Allah grant blessings upon your journey to Makkah, from Nazima Umar. Jazakallah khair for that message. And of course, the message comes through from Sister Ruqayya. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brother Faizal and the Rise and Shine team. Dua is the strongest weapon against all difficulties. Iman is the only key to having what you believe. Love is the ultimate reason why we live, because it is the ultimate nature of my Almighty Allah. Ameen. Hope is the confidence to believe that my Allah Almighty's blessings never end. Ameen. Don't underestimate the power of du'as. One small dua can change your life forever. Ameen. May you, my brother Faisal, and your family be blessed with barakah in your home. Ameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aap aur aapki family ko hamesha khush aur salamat rakhe. Inshallah. Ameen. May my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send his countless blessings on you, my brother Faizal, your family, your Rise and Shine team, and the entire Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ameen summa ameen. And this comes from Sister Ruqayya. Jazakallah khair for all those duas and those sentiments, Sister Ruqayya, and ameen to all those duas as well.
कब जाके मैं देखूंगा दरबार वो शाहाना, दरबार मदीने में आका हो जाए मेरा जान, इस रास पे जीता हूँ, एक रोज बुलाएंगे और गुंबद खज़रा का दीदार कराएंगे, फिर पेश करूँगा मैं अश्कों भरा नज़राना, बार बार मदीने में आका हो जाए मेरा जान, आका या नबी या नबी या नबी, तेरे मदीने इतनी सी तमन्ना है, हो जाए अगर पूरी.
Radio Al-Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Vodacom Shop. For smartphones, laptops, routers, asset insurance, gaming, IoT, payment platforms, and the latest gadgets, to always keeping you in the forefront of innovation and technology. Home and business internet to ensure that you have the best connection. Plug and play home internet to fully installed fiber. Our infrastructure provides a resilient platform for your critical business applications, which will help your business perform best. Vodacom Shop at the Pavilion Superstore 2.0, Westwood Mall, The Bluff, The Workshop Durban, Umlazi Mega City, Bridge City Kwamashu, Brookside Mall PMB, and the Nelson Mandela Square Stanton 2.0.
It's official. Checkers Foods Kawi Park is our first food store with a halal butchery, bakery, and deli certified by NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust. This will ensure high standards and ethical practices across our butchery, bakery, and deli from farm to table. So visit Checkers Foods Kawi Park for an exceptional shopping experience that keeps getting better and better.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة وموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن.
Invite all to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and reason with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. Join Shabir Pasha every Saturday 7 p.m. for Dawah Dynamic Show.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Al-Ansar.
You're listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al-Ansar. Now, this week we're going to be diving into an important event that professionals in law, finance, and corporate governance don't want to miss. On Wednesday, the 12th of February at 2025, the Companies Act Amendment Seminar will take place at the Al Baraka Bank Auditorium in Kingsmead Office Park, Durban, starting at 7:45 a.m. This seminar is a must-attend for accountants, lawyers, and company secretaries who need to stay ahead of the latest regulatory changes in corporate law. Our special guest this morning on Rise and Shine is Mr. Andrew Davidson, who will be the guest speaker at the seminar. And Andrew Davidson is a legal expert specializing in mergers and acquisitions, private equity, banking, and corporate governance. Mr. Davidson, good morning to you, and thank you for joining me on the program this morning.
No, good morning to you as well, and it's a pleasure to join you this morning.
The pleasure is actually ours. Andrew, can you give us an overview of what the Companies Act Amendment Seminar is about?
For sure. So effectively, there were, during everyone's summer break, there were some changes that were approved by the President, amending the Companies Act in certain instances. Some were effective straight away on the 27th of December, and some are still pending. But the changes effectively, there's quite a large sort of range of changes. Some are technical, some are sort of more protectionist as far as sort of stakeholders go, and then there's a range of other changes that will help sort of more with the grey listing and improving our corporate governance as a country, I suppose. And there's a whole host, and we can go through one or two now, but effectively that's what I'll be talking about during the presentation.
And how significant are these amendments, and what impact will they have on businesses in South Africa?
So it's a two-way street. So some of them are sort of creating more regulations that companies need to uphold, specifically, on the remuneration type reporting and sort of the annual general meetings. And then on the other side, there's some that ease the red tape. Companies that are doing buybacks, private companies that's sort of running their operations, but not at a massive level, that hopefully will be able to run their operations a little bit more smoothly without as much red tape going forward. So it's a double-edged sword, for want of a better term.
And as the guest speaker, what aspects of the amendments will you be focusing on?
So at the moment, I think I'm going to take the audience through the changes that will impact them most. So items such as the remuneration report will have quite a big impact on everyone once they're fully enabled. The requirements are going to require all directors, whether at a private company or a state company, or at a listed company environment, to report on their directors' remuneration on certain levels. That's quite a big one. There's other issues like the Social and Ethics Committee and how they are sort of stocked and how it's run. That's been updated as well. Take the audience through some of the liability issues as well that are sort of being extended.
Mm-hmm.
And then some of the technical issues that help us, such as buybacks, some of the irregular share issues and things like that the Companies Act is now a little bit more sort of firmer on, and there's sort of not that unknownness, just to show people that there is actually light at the end of the tunnel in some of these items.
Absolutely. Now, I heard you mention just earlier in the interview that some of the amendments are to be implemented immediately. Is it still in the implement? At what stage is this? Is the amendment?
So at the moment, there's a sort of a dual system in place. So what happens is the law was passed. Goodness, I'm trying to think back when it was passed. I think 2024. So July 24. But the president only basically implemented the law during December. But in his notice, he did certain sections of the Amendment Acts are coming into play, and then the others aren't enforced yet, but the law is there. Effectively, we wait on the president to basically assent to those and promulgate them into law. From our understanding and discussions within the sort of legal fraternity, and then also obviously on government, we understand that most of the acts should be in play by April this year.
Mm-hmm. And for those interested in attending, what are the registration details and costs?
I'm not too sure of that. I know there was a flyer going around, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether you've seen the flyer. Perhaps perhaps you can tell your audience that, but I'm not too sure of those details.
Not a problem. And are there specific industries that will be affected more significantly by these changes?
You know, anyone in the business environment is going to be impacted to some extent. You know, any company that does any transaction will be impacted. But I would say the most impacts are probably those in the listed environment, and then those bigger public companies, which also require some of the reporting standards. Obviously, linked to that is, you know, there's a lot of people that are shareholders in bigger companies, you know, whether they be in Durban, KZN, or, you know, within South Africa, which should also be aware of their rights. You know, from an investment point of view, although you might not be operating the companies, but you have certain specific rights that you'll be granted in terms of these changes that you should be aware of. So anyone in the business environment, you know, whether you're operating, whether you're an investor, whether you're a lender at a bank as well, those are also quite important. There's some items that will affect those people in that industry. So that I'd say was the broadest category possible.
Mr. Andrew Davidson, thank you for joining me on the program this morning, and we look forward to the seminar which takes place on Wednesday, and of course Wednesday 12 February at the Al Baraka Bank Auditorium from 7:45 p.m. Look forward to meeting you and of course deriving the benefits from your presentation. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend. All the best to you, sir.
Likewise, and I look forward to meeting everyone there in the week.
Thank you for joining me on the program. We spoke to Andrew Davidson, the guest speaker, and who is a legal expert specializing in mergers and acquisitions, private equity, banking, and corporate governance. And this is to discuss the Companies Act Amendments seminar. You're listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar and CII Radio.
موطني الجمال والجلال والسناء والبهاء في رباء والحياة والنجاة والهناء والرجاء في هواء هل أراك سالما منعما وغانما مكرما سالما منعما وغانما مكرما هل أراك في علا.
Israel's assault on the occupied West Bank has entered its third week. Tel Aviv has also taken the opportunity to increase illegal settlements. Residents now live in fear, wondering if they will be next. Let's listen to this audio clip.
The door finally opens. Kauthar Khalil, a 70-year-old Palestinian woman, hesitated to let us in until we convinced her we're not illegal settlers. Her caution is justified. She has been attacked and threatened by settlers before. Now they are trying to take her 50-year-old house in Sinjal village near Ramallah. Her home is surrounded by a fence with metal bars covering the windows as protection. At any moment, settlers could force her out if they proceed with expanding this illegal outpost, one of 53 established since October 7th in the occupied West Bank.
I close the doors all the time after the first settlers attack. I'm afraid of the settlers. I don't care about what will happen, but I'm staying here. I love this house. It's my life and my soul. I can't leave it.
Her son Saleh Khalil is a constantly. Along with his 7 siblings, they take turns staying with their mother.
All of this area is threatened with confiscation. When they attack, they come from everywhere. The illegal settlers keep on coming. Even if I'm not home, I watch on cameras if anyone is around. I'm always armed, and if no one stops them, they will keep coming close.
This is Sinjil village on the map, inside the Colonization and War Resistance Commission. The rapid confiscation of land after October 7th is monitored. Officials fear the situation will worsen as U.S. support for Israel under President Donald Trump's administration appears to be encouraging illegal settlement expansion.
What the Israel is doing now in the ground, they are now imposing their goals in the Palestinian geography. They have a very strategic goal in their mind that they will prevent the Palestinian state to be implemented in the future. So what they are trying to do now is to meet this goal.
Illegal settlements are primarily in Area C of the occupied West Bank, which comprises over 60% of the territory under full Israeli control. However, since October 7th, 7 illegal outposts have been established within Area B, designated for Palestinian civil administration under the Oslo Accords. Illegal Israeli settlements have been expanding on Palestinian land for decades, but now there are fears of sudden and faster implementation of Israeli plans across the occupied West Bank. This could turn into a life or death struggle for Palestinians. Muhammad Alwan, TRT Word, Ramallah, Palestine.
06090411056. Support was your WhatsApp messages, and yes, message coming through comes from Sister Sadia. Good morning, wishing you a sweet day filled with love and kindness. Jazakallah khair for that. And a second message from her as well says, good morning, life has a simple formula: look back, thank God, look ahead and trust God. I think that should mean let's trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Message from our brother Farhat says, Assalamu alaikum. When sadness fills your lonely heart, when tears flow from your tearing eyes, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you. Allah is always with you. Allah will protect you. So trust, believe, and never lose hope. Alhamdulillah, brother Farhad, jazakallah khair for that message. And another message comes from a sister Samia, which says, a man asked an artist, how do you make such beautiful things from a stone? And he replied, beauty is already hidden there. I just remove the extra stone. Your happiness is hidden within yourself. Just remove your worries. Jazakallah khair for that message as well. Well, you are listening to Rise and Shine with myself, Faizal MJ Suleman. It is an absolutely beautiful Saturday morning, inshallah.
जाए जलवा रहेगी बरसती वो जिनको थी बरसों से आंखें तरसती जो हो जाए जलवा रहेगी बरसती जो हो जाए जलवा तो टिक जाए नजरें तो आ जाए दिल को सकून का करीना बुला लो मदीना मुझे मेरे मौला मैं जाऊं मैं देखूं मोहम्मद का रोज़ा सुना है कि पहली नजर जो पड़े तो होती है पूरी दुआ कोई करे तो सुना है कि पहली नजर जो पड़े तो होती है पूरी दुआ कोई करे तो मिल जाए मौका तो जल्दी से जाऊं मेरा नबी
06090411056. Another message from brother Yusuf Patel. Spread love and kindness around you. No ugly word or deed or tone perfume your little world you move around today. Salams and duas, Yusuf Patel. Take care. Danger is everywhere. You definitely need more than one eye to keep clear. Jazakallah khair for that beautiful message. And then I've got a host of messages here that comes. Okay, this is all from the CI listeners. This little bag contains the following: a penny so you'll never be broken, a string to hold it together in tough times, a marble for what you lose, or for when you lose yours, a sweet to remind you of the nice things in life, an eraser to rub all your mistakes away, a plaster to heal you when you hurt, a candle to light up your dark days, a heart so you know someone loves you, a star to wish upon, covered with many blessings. Jazakallah khair for that lovely gift sent to us this morning. And from Sister Samiha, people show us over and over again exactly who they are. And we look away for the first 100 times or so, because it's easier to look at someone and see what we want to see instead of what's really there. That's okay, but one day you'll realize that life is too short to keep looking away. Take a long, hard look, and see what they show you the first time. That's who they are. Believe it. And that seems to be something that comes from Stephanie Bennett Henry. Of course, they're sent to us by Sister Samiha. Another message comes through: every day is a new beginning. Take a deep breath, smile, and start again. Yeah, thank you for that. Those beautiful messages. There are much more messages coming through, but a message from Sister Hafiza says, Assalamu alaikum, Faizal. Jazakallah khair for the informative topic last night and this morning. Very educational. We learn a lot. Jazakallah khair to you, Sister Hafiza. And the poster that Sister Hafiza sends is, talk to Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Talk to Allah rather than stressing about things we cannot control. Pray to the one who controls everything and find relief. Have a Mubarak day, inshallah. Ameen. Ameen. Jazakallah khair for that message. And message comes from a Sister Shamima. Salams and duas. Best wishes to my brother Hassan Bayat. Happy birthday. Jazakallah khair for that, Sister Shamima. And then, of course, we've got a few more messages that come through. Okay, that's a whole poster. That's okay. These are more posters that are coming through. Okay, Jazakallah khair. 060-904-1056. We look forward to your WhatsApp messages. Unfortunately, these huge posters that we get are a bit difficult to sort of read and things like that, but keep them coming up. Okay, I've got another message coming through. Okay, Jazakallah khair for those messages. Shukran.
Because of you, I feel blessed. Oh Allah, because of you, I feel blessed. Because of you, oh Allah, because of you, I feel blessed. You're a gift, and the more I discover, I found peace in my mind, body, and soul. Through your light, I can never be broken. You're my shelter in the time of storm. And I can't stop thinking about you. I know you're here by my side. You're the reason I feel so amazing. Thank you for being part of my life. Alhamdulillah. Can't live without my dear. Alhamdulillah. Can't live without my dear. Oh Allah, because of you I feel blessed. Because of you, oh Allah, because of you I feel blessed.
Okay, Sister Shamima continues the message here. And to my niece Firdaus Bakkers Bayat, or Firdaus Bayat Bakkers, happy birthday to my niece Firdaus. Okay, shukran for that. Another message that comes says, life is precious, and when you've lost a lot of people, you realize that each day is a gift. Yes, I think that is absolutely vital. Wow, someone's going to the grandma's home. And she says that grandma's house is a place for endless love and laughter, a place where memories are made and grandkids are spoiled. Sister, why? Oh, brother, why do you want to be anonymous on this message? It's a beautiful message, I think. And then, of course, somebody's got some good advice for us. They say, don't give your valuable suggestions to those who think you're not wise enough to give suggestions and never understand you. Let them be. Well, Jazakallah khair for those messages. But when you're sending those messages, add a name to it, please. It makes it so much more interesting and more personal. And, of course, interactive. You've been listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al-Ansar and Share Radio. And, of course, Asif Asfat Firi, thank you for providing the technical support in the Durban studio of Radio Al-Ansar. Lucky, thank you for the technical support in the Johannesburg studios of CI Radio. And of course, Wasima Bucks, thank you for the logistical arrangements. And Hajra Kota, thank you for having produced the show. Time for me to bid you farewell. After the news on Radio Al-Ansar, you'll be listening to Kelly Ramdani on Careers Compass. And of course, on CI Radio, you'll be listening to Juz a Day. And let's listen to the recitation of the Holy Quran and derive its benefits as well. Time for me to bid you farewell. From myself, Faizal MJ Suleman, have a wonderful weekend. And it's Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now you're standing in this place, it's time to show all the deeds that you've done. The horn has been blown. Yeah, ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Al-Ansar.
With 49 years of motoring experience, Metro Car Sales Peter Maritzburg, your largest independent dealer, keeps you